Hello and welcome to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. Some big results around the league, and to recap, we send it out to West LA with Tommy Bahama.
How's it going, fantasy football fans? It's Tommy Bahama with your Week 8 recap. This week on the hot seat, we have Coach Jacob Calathor, who showed mental weakness when he subbed out Tom Brady after taunting from the opposing coach. He would then lose because of said substitution, which was rightfully so. On the cool throne, we have offensive coordinator Danny Stortz after turning around Miguel's, quite frankly, shitty team and bringing them back to a reasonable position to make a run at the playoffs. Be on the lookout for a potential hot seat very soon for Timmy Shea, who is quite frankly a fraud and whose team will soon start to lose. That's all with Tommy Bahama this week. I'll see you next week with another recap.
And thank you, Tommy Bahama. TNN recently received team-sponsored content from Undefeated Never Lost. Before we play, I'd like to point out TNN is not responsible for the content of this video.
An MRRL time. Me and Mark Rutsu. Me and fucking Mark Rutsu. That's fucking right. I skipped 113. I'm a fucking legend. I've never seen a 113 and I never fucking will. 112, baby. To the day I fucking die. Yes! About time I get a fucking lucky break in this fucking game. Motherfuckers, and I clutch the goddamn grenade launcher. That's fucking right! Yeah, it's this one. Right here, it's this one. My insane pace. Right here, this is the 112. Right here, yes! This is fucking it. I'm gonna have to find the actual whole vid off of it, and I'm gonna have to get it. Dude, what a rush! What a rush! Watch this. Watch when I get the grenade launcher. Look at that. See how fast my pace is? Right in the fucking head! Yeah! Got a fucking 112, baby! That's right! You see that clutchness? I am fucking clutch! Look at this fucking line I take. I'm like, yeah, baby! Let's fucking do this! I wait. Right when he starts firing, to try to back boost me, the double. Body armor. 2 quick ones. I already know I'm getting there on the perfect line. Look at the fucking pace! 50, 49, 47, baby! That's fucking right! That's fucking it! Fucking pumped watching this one again. I waited to cinema too because I said, oh my god, it might be 112. And it fucking is! It fucking is, baby! Yeah! Look at me typing, you guys. You guys didn't believe me. I'm typing a storm. Dude, I fucking just got Streets 112. That's not fucking fun. Yes! I fucking did it! That's right! I skipped 113. I'm a legend. I am a fucking legend. I'm a fucking legend. Yes! I am a fucking legend.
And now, here is Danny Football with his predictions for Week 9. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. Just going to address the obvious here. We have a new set this week. It is currently election night in America, so we had to make some last-minute changes. Last week was okay for me, going 3-3, moving my total on the year to 29-19. My guest, Miguel, unfortunately beat me last week, went 5-1, becoming only the third person this year to beat the expert. Had some good insights, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the show at some point. But it's a new week, new guest, and a new chance to beat the expert. So, guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tommy Football here, close personal friend of Danny Football, and also well-known coach of 10th Avenue Touchdown, home team in Santa Monica, California, sunny Santa Monica. Come visit sometime. But I'm happy to be here, excited to join Tooch, Danny Football out here, and make some exciting picks.
First up, we have In It Tua Win It taking on Bro Chill It's Just Njoku. In It Tua Win It currently favored in this one, 72% chance to win. A little drama here, Jacob giving the harsh critique to Nooch's recent trade for David Johnson, giving up that 2021 first rounder. Who do you like in this one?
So I'm seeing a lot of coaching questions in Miami here with In It 2-0 Win It. A really questionable decision last week to bench Tom Brady in favor of young upstart and recent trade reception Tua Tagovailoa. And as much as I like Tua as a great prospect, I think it's hard to kind of make that decision here. So there's got to be a lot of trust issues from his players, but he does have two number one players at the position, and Alvin Kamara and Tyler Lockett. Whereas Nooch is just kind of lacking at every position here. Bro Chilich, Justin Njoku, they've got some solid players, but no real standouts. And I really think Justin Herbert is projected much higher than he'll perform. I am a big fan of Justin Herbert, as some of our listeners may know, but I think 30 points as a projection for this week is kind of a lot. I just don't see where they're going to make up. They don't really have any big boom players this week. I have to go with In It 2-0 Win It.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick here. In It 2-0 Win It coming off of, frankly, just a terrible week. You hate to have that few points put up, but Njoku looking like they're going to roll with Justin Herbert for the first time this year over Josh Allen against a terrible Seahawks defense. I am not too sure about that one, really questioning the judgment. Unless Nooch can convince Jacob to start Tua again, I don't see him coming out on top here. And for that reason, I'm giving the edge to In It, Tua, Win It. Next up, we have the Tex Arcana Bandits taking on the Lock'em Sock'em Robots. Robots, bigger favorites right here, 78%, but they're coming in a little banged up, losing Gaskin for a couple of weeks, really having to scrape the bottom of the barrel, getting those guys off the end of the bench to find some starters. Fans of the show will know I am high on the Bandits, but they also just recently parted ways with Johnson. Could have been a big flex hit play for them this week. They're going to have to turn to Swift or Le'Veon to fill in, both of whom have been pretty inconsistent. Also, watch out here. Dallas Goedert, only tight end on the Bandits roster, and is on a bye week. I'm expecting the Robots to exploit this tight end problem this week and take the win here.
Yeah, I think you've made some great analysis here on these two teams, and you've really been able to step back and look at the full picture here. I've seen,
well, thank you. I am the
of course,
expert.
And I've seen a lot of flaws in the Texarkana Bandits system here. I just don't think Zeke can run very well to start. But now he's down to his third string quarterback helming the ship, and has had an issue with fumbles this season, as well as a very bust-heavy Julio Jones now that Calvin Ridley is starting to take the reins of the Atlanta Falcons offense. And Phillip Rivers, quite frankly, is kind of trash. But I do see that Lock'em Sock'em Robots rely heavily on Chicago, who are facing a tough Tennessee team this week, who are looking to bounce back and start playing a bit stronger football like they did in the beginning of the season, as well as the standout play of Freight Train, of course, So I really think that Tennessee is lining up to kind of have a standout game against Chicago, shut down a frankly bad Chicago team that is playing out of their brains, earning some wins this year. So I think Chicago comes down to earth, and with it, the Lock'em Sock'em robots, their skill players are going to fall flat at a lot of positions. And you know what? I think we see a win from the Texarkana Bandits this week.
Next up, we have Team M Vanek taking on Ham and Throw. Team M Vanek currently favored here, 66% chance to win. What do you like about this matchup?
Yeah, in this matchup, M. Vanek is favored, and rightfully so. I mean, they've got Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins, two very incredible players through and through, but having standout seasons. Dalvin Cook is riding high off a win against the Packers last week. So I'm seeing a lot of strength for Team M. Vanek, and Ham and Throw really showing a lot of weakness going into this week. We're seeing a lot of players fall down with injuries here. We've got Michael Thomas, who is always questionable, leaning towards not playing once again, as well as Aaron Jones, who might not play this week on a short turnaround from Sunday to Thursday for the Packers. And I think Ham and Throw really has a big head after what was quite frankly a fluke win. Jacob over with In It to a Win It showed some mental weakness this past week, allowing Ham and Throw to get in his head. But I don't think Team M. Vanek and Coach Michael Vanek really show that same mental weakness. I think his mental fortitude will really hold strong here. He'll play those standout players, and he'll be able to kind of just nail Ham and Throw back into the ground.
Yeah, I think this is really a matchup of two teams with entirely different luck so far this year. M. Vanek, terrible luck, a lot of injuries, a lot of dead quarterbacks. On the other hand, Ham and Throw has had probably some of the best luck in the league, extremely lucky in their matchups. They are the worst team in the league by far as points scored, but somehow sitting at a decent record. Fans of the show are going to know I'm low on Ham and Throw. We all know it. And as a matter of principle, I have to go against them and pick Team M. Vanek in this one. Next up, 10th Avenue Touchdown, facing off against Too Many Cooks. Too Many Cooks, currently favored here, slight favorites, 55% chance to win. Who do you like here?
Too Many Cooks was favored just a bit ago, but I think we saw a few substitutions. I think with a bit of bench play here, 10th Avenue Touchdown can kind of swing themselves into some very close pregame favorites. But what I really like here, I will say for Too Many Cooks, is that they have a strong defensive base. They've got a lot of great defensive players out there, and they've got Patty Mahomes, but I really don't see a lot of power at the skill positions for them. Some weak running backs, some weak top receivers, and especially in this COVID season with a lot of injuries, and in fantasy in general, you need a standout player to get you some big boom points. And with no strength at the skill positions that I can see, I'm just not seeing it for Too Many Cooks. Whereas 10th Avenue Touchdown's kind of riding on a high here. They're kind of seeing a lot of big games from Freight Train, and out of their receivers. They've got a great receiving core out there, a couple of powerful tight ends. They have been a little bit weaker on the defensive side, but they do have some great players on the defense. So, I think this comes out to who really has the skill players who are going to boom this week. And I have to say, I think that's going to be 10th Avenue Touchdown.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. 10th Ave looking pretty good heading into this one. They had a nice win. They could also be getting Lizard Man, Alan Lazard back soon, which is good for the team, but could also be bad because they also have Devontae Adams. Too Many Cooks, on the other hand, not looking so hot here at 2-6. I really don't know what it is, but sometimes as an expert, you just have a gut feeling, gut instinct that tells you have to go with one team over the other, and my gut is telling me Too Many Cooks going to come out on top in this one. I'm going with them. A little bit of an upset. They're currently favored, but it's a big upset. Too many cooks. Next up, we have undefeated, never lost, going up against Team Big Chungus 22. Undefeated, never lost, currently favored here, 81% chance to win. They have been on fire, shocking the league, stringing some wins together. Maybe offensive coordinator Danny Stortz was exactly what this team needed. On the other hand, I have never loved Team Big Chungus, and their running backs are looking especially weak this week, and they have a flex spot that needs to be filled. Really some questions about the strength of the players they're going to be able to put into their starting lineup this week. Undefeated, never lost. Surprisingly, it's very surprising to say this, they are looking like the more well-rounded team, and I have to give them the edge in this matchup. Undefeated, never lost, taking down Team Big Chungus 22.
Yeah, I think you kind of said everything that needed to be said about this matchup right there. I think, and don't fact check on me on this, but I'm pretty sure that Big Chungus 22 has the lowest average from some starting running backs in the league right now going into this week, specifically for this week. They're not seeing much a boom potential out of either of their running backs this week, and you just kind of can't have that in this league, especially when so many running backs are going down. To not have one who can pick up those crucial points for you is really tough. And I think offensive coordinator Danny Stortz has been big for undefeated, never lost, kind of bringing them closer to ringing true to their name, although they never will. He's found a lot of great players who are playing against a lot of bad defenses this week on offense. From playing against the New Orleans defense to the Jets to the Texans, there's a lot of potential to run up the score in those offensive skill positions. So I think we're going to see undefeated, never lost kind of start to turn the tide here with a big win this week over Big Chungus 22. Kind of a lose and go home game this week as we turn ourselves past the halfway point of the season. So I think this will be very huge for them.
Finally, our marquee matchup this week, Harry Snotters are taking on Mental Brick Walls. Brick Walls currently favored, 56% chance to win. This one is big. Two division leaders could make a big difference in the playoff seeding here. Who do you like in this one?
Danny Football, it's time. I got to drop the big F word. I'm sorry to all our listeners, but I have to say it. The Harry Snotters are... That's right. And I will stand by it. Quote me on that at the end of the season. Harry Snotters, frauds. They are in the bottom half of points in this league and have somehow found themselves at 6-2. And I know they have fantasy star Christian McCaffrey, but he's not around. And quite frankly, the rest of this team might as well not be around. I don't really think, besides Lamar Jackson, they have anyone worth writing home about. And I think Mental Brick Walls, one of the best scoring teams in this league, and quite frankly, I feel one of the best teams in this league, are going to finally put the Harry Snotters in their place. And I know the prediction is pretty tight this week. It's our closest game. But I think the Brick Walls are going to smoke the Harry Snotters.
Yeah, this is definitely one that's going to be pretty close. Some people have been calling the Snotters into question. Very soft, 6-2, not a lot of points scored against. Whereas the Brick Walls, they currently have the league lead in points scored. This is going to be one where I think the projections don't line up with the actual play. Snotters are about to get a big boost, possibly from McCaffrey coming back, but if he doesn't, they'll still get that big boost from Chase Edmonds, who's going to be taking over for Kenyon Drake for a little bit now that he's got some injuries. And as much as I like Brett's team, I think that momentum is going to be a shot in the arm for the Snotters. I like them in this one, and I expect them to come out on top. All right, well, Tom, thank you so much for being on the show this week. Some great predictions. I wish you all the best of luck. Of course, not as good as me. Can't beat the expert. But, yeah, thank you again for being on, and hopefully we'll be able to have you back on at some point.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Danny Football.
And thank you, Danny Football and guest Tom, for those great predictions. That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to come back next week. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.